Hello everybody, welcome back to Embrace the Journey with Sharon. I am very excited today, I really am, because I have a guest today who, one, is making a huge difference in our world, and you know, that turns me on. You know, people that make a difference and try to make our world a better place, big. But she also flew in to do my show, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to introduce you to Candice Belfer, and Candice is involved in a few different things. She started a corporation called Home Training Group Inc., and you know, all of us are always looking at getting in shape, and some of us don't like going to the gym, some of us don't have time to go to the gym, some of us fall in and out of it. So this is a really cool alternative, I think, for a lot of people. And it also, many of us would like to have a trainer and don't know how to go about doing it. So Candice is going to give us a little bit of information on that as well. She is also the founder of a nonprofit, and again, my heart, I love people that are doing good things in the world, called My Jeans Fit, and so she'll talk to us a little bit about that as well. And she's going to share with us her journey. Again, that's what it's all about. We have obstacles that come up in our lives, and this whole show is about embracing them. Those of us that have come up against obstacles, embrace them, moved forward, and are putting a positive into the world, as well as getting a positive back from the world. So Candice, thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome, and definitely worth flying in for. Hopefully more people fly in for your show, because I think, you know, that's very important to have that one-to-one connection.
Yeah.
And you never know who's going to hear your stuff and who you get to meet along the way and network with. I always treat everybody, even the trainers throughout the years, I always took the time for everybody. I just take the time, and I think that's an important message, to take the time for somebody.
She's a Jersey girl, can you tell? Heart.
All heart, good and bad.
Well, thank you for saying that. I much appreciate it. And I wish we had more sunshine for her today, but at least it's warmer.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about who Candice is, a little bit about your journey and how it helped lead you, guide you in the direction that you've gone with in your life to make a difference for people.
I think it's interesting because any of the viewers who are looking at me, they're probably saying, fitness? She's not a size like 2 or doesn't look like, but surely I've just finished a half marathon, and you know, I'm healthy and as fit as can be, and I love what I do because it represents health at a different size. And healthy doesn't mean that you're a size 2, or that you may appear outward to look one way when athletic comes in many different sizes and shapes, and that's what the messaging is.
And it's not just about the physical attributes from, you know, what I've read in our conversations, because wellness it's all of us. When you feel good about yourself, when you have a confidence about yourself, no matter what package, no matter what beautiful package you're in, that's wellness.
Right.
Yeah.
Mental,
wellness.
Emotional, there's many different components to it. Spiritual, physical.
Yeah.
Definitely, there's a lot of different components to wellness, and they're all important to be addressed in order, you know, to find the inner success.
Yeah.
The inside that just says, I could breathe now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay. It's good to be okay. So basically, I started Home Training Group 5 years ago. I weighed 364 pounds at my high, and I lost 154 pounds working out. Well, 79 pounds of those I lost with one personal trainer in 3 months, and I thought, I have been fighting this my whole life. I think the personal trainer helped so much for me because it became the accountability. I know that it does get expensive, and that's where the business came in, because I thought, God, there's so many personal trainers out there. We got to do something.
So,
yeah.
When you decided to make that decision for yourself, were you at a certain point in your life in the sense where you stressed about work? Did you have children? Where were you at that point in your life? And how did you find the space for yourself to give that to yourself? Because it's a gift to yourself.
Weight is a constant my whole life. I've been fighting it forever, from diet camps to being bullied as a kid for being overweight. Weight is something that has been in my energy space forever. It's the only thing I thought about all day.
Yeah.
Is like, what am I going to eat next? This doesn't fit me. If I only was this, and it just occupied way too much space. But it defined me, and I let it define me. And I just think I had 2 kids, and one of the things that really hurt me the most were how mean kids are. And I know that's often said, but I really feel even as an adult, I ran into different situations in college. I was a large size model. I had my weight under control for me. I was 5'10", and I'm 5'10", so I was a large size model at a size 10, 12. I mean, that's normal. I mean, most Americans are, the average American woman is 5'5" and a size 14. I was 5'10" and a 10, 12, and I was still having issues with how I was treated or viewed by society because of the stigma that comes with obesity. I mean, that's a totally different subject, but I basically found myself after having my kids and not listening to people say, get the weight off before you have the kids. The kids take so much time. You have a safer pregnancy. All these other things, because everybody gives their 2 cents. I basically just saw myself as a very obese mother. I came across a few boxes with some old pictures, portfolio pictures. I was a Macy's catalog. I had
So you
Faded
modeled
Glory.
at one point in
I was a
time,
large
right?
size model, one of the youngest ones in New York City. I was with Click. I opened up the board for Karen's in New York City. I started with Plus Model Management. I was a very successful Plus model, for successful as Plus models were back then.
Yeah, so that's an interesting, because what you're saying and is true. It's a fact that society and how they define beauty is a size 0, size 2, stealth, in shape, and even plus size modeling now, you really don't see it. I think there was a little bit that I heard a few years ago about, I can't even remember her name, and that's how bad it is. Liv Tyler's sister.
Mia?
Mia, right? Because she's
Yeah.
a plus size model.
Yeah, she was there
But
when I was
how
there.
much do you hear about that?
You
know?
don't.
No.
Well, I mean, even she even had a celebrity as a
You're
father.
right.
So you don't. And there's Emmy, and there was Kate Dillon, and there were a lot of women that I can name that I know their names, but people did not know their names. There was no leading. You had Emmy, and for me, she was older than me when she had the fashion emergencies. It wasn't even identifiable to me. I was so much younger than her, and I admire her, but I was younger than her.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. Didn't have anybody to look at
Yeah.
and say, like, that's beauty, or there was no one that fit what I was about. So I mean, I just didn't have that. I had nothing that was. People say, "Who's your hero?" I'm like, Oprah. I don't know. I did because I love what she did,
Yeah.
and I know everybody loves what she did. But she
owns
owns
who
it.
she is.
She finished a marathon. I'll never forget when she did that. And I was so young. I was I was maybe 19, and I just thought, this woman, she just rocks.
Yeah. Well, you found your own courage, it sounds like, or drive or whatever, because you're saying that, from when you were young, you were dealing with this and being bullied, which for a lot of people, I mean, that is impactful. I can tell you, people look at me and they're like, oh, you've never had to. And yes, when I was in my early 20s, I'm short. And so when you put weight on a short stature,
Sure.
it's all in here. And I remember my girlfriend and I, we were in California, and she was dancing with this one guy, and he was cute, and she was into it, and his friend was with him, and so he was hanging around with me and he looked at me and he says, "Well, I don't usually hang out with girls your size." I was in my 20s. I'm going to be 49 next month, and I still remember how that feels.
Same story as yours. Fun.
Very, very impactful.
Yeah, very impactful.
Yeah. So, but you can do one of two things with it. You can bury it and allow them to be right when they're not, or you can move forward and find the courage to become a plus size model.
Action.
Which, I mean, that's a huge step.
That was a huge step. I did very well with it at the time. I think that there was always a little bit of something in my life that set me down the road in which I'm going. I had the bullying, I had the large size modeling, and when I was a large size model, the most important message is that I was miserable as a large size model, and everybody used to say, "Why are you so unhappy?" Like I said, weight always was the issue for me, and so somebody said, "If you don't like it, change it." And I thought, change it? How am I going to change it? Well, I went to Pratt. I definitely, studied art direction. I was always very creative. I am great with ideas, and I think that's where a lot of things happen, when you can really envision something and see it through until the end.
Bingo.
Because that's
Envisioning
important.
it, yeah.
You have to be able to see it
Yeah.
to make it happen
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
First step. Yeah.
We say to people all the time, look around. None of this existed. First it existed here. Somebody
right.
saw it here, and then it was created in the world. Okay, so we'll go back up. So you're a mom, you've got two young boys, you look at yourself.
And I didn't want my kids to ever come home and say, why does my mom not take care of herself? Well, your mom's fat, or kids are so mean. I did not want that for my kids, and I said I have to change. I was panicking that somebody would say that to my kid. I thought, that's the worst thing that can happen. They asked me that. I don't want that. And I just said to my husband, I have to change.
So you found the courage a second time now, and I use courage because I think it is that, because when we step out of a comfort zone that we're in, even if we don't like it, even when we don't like something, there's a comfort zone to it. That's why people say, why did they stay with that abusive person or whatever? It's almost more fearful to step out of what you know. Mm-hmm. So you picked up the phone, or how did you get with a trainer?
The important thing to know is the first thought is you want to change.
Yeah.
Change doesn't always get implemented because you say you want to change.
Yeah.
Just because you put something out there doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fighting. You have to want it more than you want to live the other way.
Yeah.
Whatever it is in your life that's stopping you.
And what do you say to people that say about willpower? Because I have my own thoughts on willpower. But what do you...
Willpower in the sense of an addiction or...
Yeah.
There is no perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So willpower comes with a choice, a decision to know that I'm either going to do it because I can continue to do it in spurts and still reap benefits that will reward me,
Mm-hmm.
or I can't have it at all because if I do, I'm done.
Yeah.
So knowing those two things are really important.
Yeah, I think willpower goes hand in hand with support.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think from my own personal experiences with the things that I have personally overcome, or decided to change in my life, that my willpower, it was almost like that was the cry out. Okay, I finally have it. But without the support around me, I don't know if I would have been able to go as far. And the further you go, the quote unquote easier it gets, because you're retraining yourself, how you look at yourself, how you feel about yourself. And
there were many times, I just want to say, different than you, I didn't have any support. I had no support. And so the important thing to know is that if you don't have support, you can still get it done.
yeah.
You don't need to. Support is nice to have. I think I'm a strong believer, it takes a community to make a change. But one person can make a big change. And I
And
certainly
it's not
have.
human, yeah. It's not necessarily human. I found it in books. I found it in
Right.
music.
Oh, well, that's
I mean,
important
yeah,
too.
in all
Yeah, if you
different-
don't,
all
I find
different
it in
areas.
music. Music.
Yeah,
Oh, music
Yeah, me
has
too.
gotten me through a million things.
Yeah,
so
me
I
too.
love music.
yeah. It's again knowing that you're not alone.
Yes.
Knowing that you're not alone in what it is that you're going through, and you hear it in the lyrics of songs. You'll be like, oh my God, they were in my heart. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because the lyrics are like so right on.
Right.
So
And then
okay, so you picked up the phone. You picked up the phone to call.
I
the
went
trainer,
right. I
you
tried a
emailed
million
them?
different things. I went to a training studio. I failed. I called in a trainer. I wasn't really committed. I went to a public gym. I met one specific trainer who helped me. That trainer really set me down a path, and I believe that there are people that come in your lives for reasons and certain times, and this person came into my life and gave me many gifts, and really taught me health and fitness and taking care of myself, and to never accept really that there's a finish line there. So I'm always looking, and I think a lot of people do. You see the before and you see the after picture, and there's no after picture here, because he reminded me when I first started working out, people are going to say, you look really good, you look great. And to someone with an addiction, or especially a food addiction, you start to think, I'm done, I can eat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Done. But you're not done. It doesn't end.
Mm-hmm.
When you take care of yourself, it's something you continuously do.
Yeah.
Just because it makes you feel good. There's a reward from it. The reward is feeling good, looking good, your skin being better, building bone density, better blood flow, metabolism,
Yeah.
digestion, all the different things that come
Emotions, attitudes.
right, everything
yeah,
changes.
all of that.
Everything.
Yeah,
And I changed.
Yeah, I think any addiction, I've had a few. I think any addiction is for that particular individual, whatever their addiction is. And this, I will say that I believe that there's not a single person on this planet that doesn't have some form of addiction to something. What level it goes to, whatever, but there's some type of addiction. And I think for whatever that is for that individual, that it is a progressive thing. So in other words, mine was, many of you know there's cocaine. So just because I haven't done cocaine in more than 20 years doesn't mean that if I did some today, I would be like the first time. It wouldn't be like the first time. It would be like the bad part at the end. And I think the same thing is kind of what I'm hearing from you of, I can eat, and you start to do it, you go back into that cycle, because it's just the addiction.
It's very true, that end cycle. I know, like, even recently, just talking to a client who was doing well and now is going in the downward part. The moment that you start to escalate back downward, it's being able to grab yourself and contort yourself back out of it so that you can begin to find health again. Because when you're down, and when you're up, you're up.
Yeah.
And down can get you so down that you don't know how to stop the spiral. And so
it happens quicker.
It happens so fast.
Yeah.
It does. And it gets me. I'm not like people, I'm constantly fighting this. I am never going to be a size 2, and I'm okay with that. I just need to be able to stay at a place where I'm content for me, not for anybody else. It has to be for
What's
me.
Candice's size?
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, what is the size for me? Not what does society say is right. What do I feel? Where do I move the best at?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I function? Functional movements. Huge. Personal training is made up of functional movements.
Mm-hmm.
If you are bending down and throwing your back out, functionally, your body's not strong.
Yeah.
You're not working that well. You're not working the best that your body can be working. And there are things with personal trainers that you can learn to do that make you functionally strong without equipment in your home. I was amazed that you didn't have to go to a gym to do any of this stuff. I don't get it. And I lost so much weight. And I mean, from then to now, totally different person. And of course, I've been smaller than right now, and I've been bigger than right now, and that's not what this is about. This was about, for me, like I said, finding my health, and then I said, I need to like pay this forward.
The breathing space of, you look in the mirror at yourself and you go, I like you.
Yeah.
I like you.
And I need to let other people know how many trainers there are out there, and I need to start. Well, everybody wanted to use my personal trainer, so
Yeah.
then I just thought, okay, as a graphic artist and somebody that wants to do stuff and give back, I'm going to come up with a business, and I started Home Training Group.
Yeah.
And I began talking to every personal trainer. I even drove to Kentucky. And I met a lot of, at the time the hit show The Biggest Loser was very big, I met a lot of them and spoke with them, and felt like a lot of the contestants I've known my whole life. It was just me fighting it also, and I've met them through the years in diet camps, and it just felt too familiar, and I felt like, you know, there has to be some sort of sustainability to this, and you know, commitment to checking into a process and accountability, because sometimes when you have an addiction you need to check in with somebody, and
it's part of it. It is part of it.
You need somebody to say. Most time I was like, I don't want
Yeah.
them coming.
So let's do this. Give me, if you could leave the audience with 3 steps that you would suggest based on your own part of the journey that they could take if they're in a place right now where they do want to change. 3 steps, and the 4th one would be to go visit her site, which will have the information on the website for you to go visit and get more information about the home training group. But on a personal level, you know, if you'd reach out to them and just say, 1, 2, 3 is what I suggest, and then go to my site.
It's not even, I think, dealing with the emotional part of obesity, if we're going to go there, it's the emotional root. Obesity becomes a disease later. So first you have to figure out what it is that's making you eat. And the second thing I would say is people should understand what fat is. It's stored energy, so you need to move. You need to move if you don't like to move, and you need an affordable price and someone that can, you know, get you going, keep you going, get you started, keep you going. You can give our company a call. We're hometraininggroup.com, 800-979-4180, and we have lots of different personal trainers, multi-certified, and we'll find something that you love to do, and, you know, you can make it happen. You can get a change going.
I thank you so very much for flying in
you.
to see me, and we're going to do another show. I'm going to invite you back to do another show because I want to talk about more about My Jeans Fit. As I end the show every day, I want you to remember to embrace the journey, because when you do, life becomes amazing and you meet amazing people. Thank you, Candice.
Thank you.